Hey, dancers, Anthony and Rose. We have taught literally thousands of people how to two-step on our two-step tour.
And class after class, city after city, we've noticed this one little thing that people struggle with.
It's basically what they're being taught. They're being taught like a dumbed-down version of the basics.
Yes.
It makes two-step a little bit easier in the beginning, but ultimately makes it so much more difficult later on. And it really is just not how two-step is danced. But we see it all the time. Dancers, they've taken a few classes, they've learned what they thought were the basics, except what they learned was actually like a training wheels version. Someone gets them out on the floor, makes it easier in the beginning, except for when they try all the cool stuff, then it gets really weird. And the worst part is that most dance teachers are teaching this stuff not knowing how it's gonna mess people up later. I mean, I get the intention. Teaching something gets them out on the floor quick, builds a little confidence, makes it easy.
Until it's not.
Right, and the problem is it's gonna take months, sometimes years to fix this stuff later. So in this video, we're breaking down the one thing you were taught in the beginning that's making your two-step way more difficult than it needs to be, and how to fix it.
Let's go back to where things started getting weird in the first place.
Two-step started in the honky tonks, real people dancing together to real country music. And somewhere along the way, bar owners realized if they started the night with a quick dance lesson, people showed up earlier and they filled the place before they officially opened.
Those lessons weren't really meant to teach dance, they were meant to get people in the bar early so they could buy drinks.
And of course, there's new people coming in each week, and instructors had to start teaching a dumbed-down version of two-step. Something simple, it gets people into the bar, onto the floor, but maybe not the best way to learn. All right, guys, if you were like me, here's the stuff that you were taught in the very beginning. Everybody's taught this in the very, very beginning, and it's messing with everybody but Rose.
Yes, he was my teacher, so.
Everybody but Rose and the entire world was taught
easy.
this first basic step, and it messed you up forever. Here's what it looked like. Correct me if I'm wrong. Comment down below if this was what you were taught. You were taught a basic, quick, slow, and then you were taught this single turn where she starts in closed position, she does a single turn, she finishes back in closed position, and then you keep dancing.
Cute.
And you go, yay, I'm dancing, and I feel like I'm doing great. And then later on, you can't figure out why nothing's working, because ultimately, this is not how two-step works, okay? This has a purpose, and I get the purpose. You're getting somebody on the floor, making them feel good, but they're creating habits or developing muscle memory on something that does not work.
And it goes against the whole structure of what two-step really is.
All right, let me show you what it really is. All right, so first we're gonna show you how two-step actually works, right? Then we're gonna prove it to you that it actually works that way, right? Completely contradictory to everything that is taught, probably what you were taught, right? But instead of doing a single turn where she starts facing me and she finishes facing me, we're not gonna do that all. We're gonna learn math. We're gonna learn 1.5. It's fractions, right? Dance math class, all right? She's gonna start facing backwards. She's gonna turn 1.5 times and finish facing forward. So for this example, we're gonna finish her facing in a promenade, all right? So whichever wall she started facing, she finishes facing the opposite wall. We'll show you that again, and then she'll turn back the other way. So she's gonna turn 1.5 to the right to finish facing forward, and then she turns 1.5 turns to the left to finish facing back, all right? Now I'm gonna show you how this works. We're gonna lead some basic variations, and it's always gonna be 1.5 turns. So we're gonna do that 1.5 turns that we just did. Quick, slow. So she turns from to the right, going from backwards to forward. That's 1.5 to the right to face forward, and 1.5 to the left to face back. Okay, so we'll show you that again, and we'll show you a bunch of variations of that. She goes from back to forward, and forward to back. Now from that variation, we can do all kinds of cool stuff. She turns to the right, she finishes forward in Sweetheart. She turns to the left to finishes facing back. She turns to the right to face forward. She turns to the left to face back. To the right to face forward.
Whee!
To the left to face back. Most everything in two-step is based around this concept of 1.5 turns, right? So it's easy to see that you can do a bunch of stuff. So if you learn that 1.5 turn variation, then the leader just has to learn a bunch of different ways to do that.
Absolutely, and he can lead you to do one turn to face him, but he's physically communicating that, or he can lead 1.5 million turns, but he is communicating that. But as the follower, we're always assuming 1.5, and then he gets to play around with his lead and how many you do.
We're not saying you never do one turn, right? We're not saying you can't do that, right?
Yes.
We're just saying you have to have a default. Now, here's where a perfect example of when a default, this assumption has to come in, is that when I lead a free spin, okay? So if I let go of her, I can't physically lead her if I'm not touching her, right? So she has to know how much to do. So like if we're side by side here, we're side by side, we're coming at you, and I lead her for a free spin, how much should she turn? Quick, slow. Should she just like keep turning, right? When does she stop? But she wouldn't start facing forward. Like when you were taught in the beginning, you were taught a single turn. She wouldn't start facing forward and finish facing forward or back or whatever. She has to do 1.5 as a default. There's a lot of variations that lead free spin. So like if we're in the Sweetheart position and we go quick, slow, she would default to 1.5 turns. So she goes from forward to back. There's so many variations. So like side-by-side free spins, we're going this way, so we're both facing backwards, and we're going this way.
Sorry.
We would go
okay, here we go.
quick, slow, and quick, slow. No
See,
joke.
I assumed he was going to do something. He didn't leave that. So assume the right thing.
This is what
yeah.
she's making, but it's all 1.5 as a default. Now, you can lead 1 turn. You can lead 27 turns, right?
Yeah.
There's just another communication. You have to default to 1.5. Here's the problem that people get into when they learn this, all right? So if you learned this in the beginning and you came back to face your partner, this becomes your muscle memory. This becomes the default.
Yep.
Now, when he starts leading other things, so like if we just even did a basic turn like we did in that very beginning into a promenade, what happens is she doesn't know, she doesn't feel the fact that she should finish facing forward, and then she finishes facing him, and he's trying to lead a promenade. It's like, oh wait, no, we're supposed to be over here, right? And so there's
it's
always
funky.
this correction that has to happen, and you develop this muscle memory on this thing, and then you have to fix it later because it's really just not how two-step works.
Yeah, and I kind of want to give an example. When you're in a wrap position, this is a very common pattern in two-step. Quick, slow. So he can lead you to do 1 turn and stop you there. But let's say that the follower just gets in that habit of doing 1 turn, but he wants to send her out for a free spin. That's where things get really weird, where then she should be doing default 1.5. So he can manipulate that, and then, but always assume 1.5 and you'll be good.
Now, here's another thing you got to think about. I mean, so we're talking about a lot of turning. I mean, that's kind of what two-step is. Two-step is just walking and turning. And more specifically, it's for her, it's a dance of walking and turning.
Yes.
And it's a guy's job to walk and turn her, right? So like she's gonna turn a lot. So she's gotta have this built in. She doesn't know what he plans.
Yes.
But since we're doing a lot of turning, guys, you're gonna wanna learn how to turn too. We really gotta work on how we turn and how we make these things. We want them balanced, we want them controlled. We gotta connect with them. So she's talking about leading and manipulating a pattern. So how do I lead a single turn? How do I lead 47 turns? How do I do that? Now this video over here is going to actually break down all of the ideas of turning, from balance to control. What is the single thing that makes you lose balance? There's only one, right? And we're going to fix that. So now that you're turning, you're doing the 1.5, you need that video.
See you over there.